Hello guys, I wanted to go over a tutorial to import data from Stockdio, which is a resource for financial data. It's popular on WordPress especially. First of all, I wanted to explain what um, a dictionary, a collection, and an array are. Let me just turn on the magnifying glass. Okay, so a dictionary is this part. So status is a dictionary. Then this part here, columns, is a collection. See here? Why? Because it has a square bracket. Status had a squiggly bracket. That made it a dictionary. As far as an array is concerned, values is an array. How do you know that? Because it has two square brackets open. So it's a two-dimensional array. So just wanted to clarify that. And now we're going to proceed to coding a module for the import of Stockdio data. It's going to be a macro in Excel. So first thing we should do is you should have a sheet called JSON SHT. Now we're going to insert module. And before we do that, we're going to import JSON converter, which is developed by Tim Hall. Now we have this here, but it's later going to present a problem because we need this to be as a class module. So we're going to keep it like this, as well as copying all the code and inserting a class module. We're going to paste the code here. And I'm going to name this as 1. And so first you make all the declarations. Constant This is us declaring the range. So A1, A1 to N13. This is our range. So all the ones with the squiggly brackets are dictionaries. This is the two-dimensional array. So now we're going to assign to JSON text the URL. So I have the Stockdio data, and because I did not want to waste any of my calls to the API, I have it hosted locally as a file. So we're going to be using a file from my computer hosted through the WAMP server. And this part I got it from, this part I got it from GitHub. A gentleman, I will quote his name later, I forget. He posted this code. So this will obtain the data from the website. So this data set has, if you take a look, it has 12 values, as in a yield. It's a bond yield. This is a data set of yields. So there is United States 3-month yield, there's Canadian yield, there's UK yield, and there are 12 items like that. Goes all the way down to Germany. So there are 12 items of there are 12 records, and then there are 14 columns. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And yes, there are going to be 14 values for those columns. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. We're going to use the with command. What it allows us to do is specify properties in excess of what it would be possible. So we are able to go to the next line. So this is going to be our headers. We're going to highlight it as bold. So these are our 12 records from United States to Germany. I'm just going to hold here for a moment. You might be getting confused why there are two loops and this and that. The way to work through this is to learn it on your, like, according to your own strategy. So what I did is I was getting confused looking up different resources online, which helped me a lot, like Stack Overflow and a lot of other sites. Now, the strategy I use is I divided my code into functions. So we'll see below their functions, but I thought of it as soccer. So in soccer, you pass the ball, which I took as an argument, you pass an argument or the ball to the next function. And you need these functions because diversity, as one of the anthropologists stated, diversity is a hedge against uncertainty. So when you're uncertain, just divide the code into functions. But you don't need oversimplification either. However, you will see as we specify later the functions, how easy it is if you divide your code into functions and think analytically. We're going to use the offset command. What it does is it takes Excel to the next line. And now we're going to call our function. So these are our two functions that we're going to define later. The autofit command expands the cell to fit the contents. Now we're going to define our functions. Calling it one because we're just going to work on one thing at a time. I am going to post this on GitHub. So it's going to return a string, and it's going to return itself as a string. That's how you do it in VBA. And these are the two arguments that it is taking in. Or we're going to localize these arguments. assigning the argument to a local variable. Assigning the result to the returning function. So I'm going to pull that up. Let's try to understand how. So the way it's going is data, prices, columns, and then these are the columns. So if column 1 here is symbol, and you might ask, why did we exclude status? Because look here, they're in the same line. If I wanted to access code, I would go status code, and then from there on I would take it. But these are in the same line, so if we want to call on data, we would access it directly. That's the root here. In local variables, that allows you to use this function anywhere. So you will notice that this is the same as the name of the function. And let's try to understand again what we typed here, how we got to this. Data, prices, values. This is the array, right? So the way it's going is data, prices, and then if you see here, columns is in line with values. This can be easily seen if you open this file in VS Code. It has lines, so it will tell you data, prices, values, index, the array's index, and then its value. Let's continue. The last function, I got it from GitHub. I'm going to see if I made any mistakes. Let's save this. There is a correction we will need to make in JSON converter because we put this in as a class and it doesn't allow private, sorry, it doesn't allow public declarations of certain functions. So let's run this. I'm sure there's a mistake we'll have to correct. Okay, so that's what I was expecting. Compile error. Constants, fixed length, strings, arrays, user-defined types, and declare statements not allowed as public members of object modules. Okay, so this has this is an error in this class module. We have to set this to private. That's why I have the other JSON converter, because in there, in here, I set this to, this is, we haven't changed this, so it's public. Yeah, here, it's public here, so we set it to private here. Let's run this again. So we're getting an error, user defined type not defined. So the type is dictionary, and I noticed here that I did not download the dictionary module, so we're going to add that code file. It's available on GitHub. Sorry, we forgot to close this. Simple mistake, guys. Forgot to put inverted commas. See what further mistakes we have. Got to assign. Ta-da! There you have it, your result.